Hey guys, Henry here, and today I'm going to be talking about the film The Farewell. The Farewell is an American dramedy, written and directed by Lulu Wang, based partly on her own life experiences. Much of the film is in Chinese and subtitled. The story follows Billi, a Chinese-American woman played by Awkwafina, who has a close relationship with her grandma, who she affectionately calls Nai Nai, the Chinese word for grandmother, and finds out that her grandmother has been diagnosed with terminal cancer and only has a few months to live. Her family don't want to tell her about her diagnosis and want her to pass away ignorant of the entire situation. This is extremely common in China, as it is the culture to want to protect your family members, and they believe that by lying to the sick person, the family is shouldering the burden for them and preventing them from living in fear throughout their last days. Even Nai herself didn't tell her husband when he was terminally ill. The movie follows Billi as she struggles to come to terms with her grandmother's illness and has conflicting emotions about how her parents have chosen to handle the situation. They decide to leave Billi in New York City and go back to China and attend Billi's cousin's wedding in an elaborate excuse to bring back family to China one last time to spend more time with Nai before she moves on. The whole family is in agreement that Billi will not be able to hide her emotions and she will expose the truth to Nai. This already shows us how important the family feels it is to keep the truth from her, not wanting Billi to go back and see her one last time, even though they know Billi has a very close relationship with her grandma. I mean, this is the extent that they'll go to, the sacrifice that they think they need to make to protect their family. While this movie is obviously personal and culturally specific, the core themes are universal. I mean, who can't relate to dealing with a family crisis? Dealing with such terrible news is just never easy, and there never quite is a right way to handle it. Through this movie, Wang explores the cultural differences between the East and the West and between generations. Personal values vary, and with the subject matter of the impending death of a loved one, it's very difficult to have a clear-cut answer. But Wang doesn't try to give an answer. Although Billi is her conduit throughout the film, and Billi expresses her view that her grandma should know about her diagnosis, Wang doesn't force this opinion down anyone's throat. Billi isn't even able to quite articulate exactly why her view is more correct. Through discussions with her family members, we are shown their motivations for hiding this news from her grandma, and while she maintains her own view, Billi is at least open to listen and sympathize with her family members. Over the course of the film, you're presented with all these different perspectives and views, and you really question how you yourself would handle this situation if you were in her shoes. On one hand, it seems completely unethical not to tell the sick person what the situation is, to let them say goodbye to their loved ones, to let them do the things they want to do before they pass. But on the other hand, you don't want them constantly thinking about their impending death, scared that it might take them at any second. It really is a question with no right answer. Awkwafina had to learn Mandarin for this film, and she did a really great job. I was super impressed. I won't say that her accent was perfect or especially convincing, but having to juggle such complex subject matter and emotions with lines and a language that you're learning on the job is extremely difficult. She did amazingly well with the timing of her expressions and the flow of her dialogue in Mandarin. Awkwafina really was the foundation of this film. She set the emotional tone throughout, and it was through her relationship and interactions with her parents, her uncles, aunties, cousins, and her grandma that gave the story that genuine feeling. Her performance was nuanced. It wasn't over the top and a caricature like we've seen before. It was really great to see her in a dramatic role like this. It really proves that she's an extremely capable actress. Even throughout the somber atmosphere of the film, she maintains a magnetic screen presence as well. Zhen plays Billi's Nai. She was absolutely brilliant. She perfectly captured the sensibilities of an Asian grandma. She has a close relationship with Billi, commenting on the shape of her butt, wanting to make sure she eats enough food, trying to teach her little things here and there, and imparting wisdom to her. She's independent, she speaks her mind, and at times she can dish some brutal reality checks, but it's always coming from a place of familial love. In fact, each character was really well defined, and their relationships with one another were really well defined as well. They represented real people in a real situation, and they each held their own values and beliefs. On one hand, you had the uncle who moved to Japan from China, and he maintained those Eastern sensibilities, whereas Billi's dad, who moved to New York City from China, had developed Western sensibilities. You also had Billi's mum, who had beef with her mother-in-law, but at the same time, deep down, she still really cared for her. You had Billi's great auntie, Nanai's younger sister, who lives in China and takes care of Nanai. You've got Billi's cousin, who lived in Japan and finds it difficult to communicate with Nanai, a common problem for grandchildren that have grown up in a different country to the grandparents. They struggle to communicate with them, and that's just a sad reality. You've also got the cousin's girlfriend, fiance, or wife, a complete stranger to the family. She has a communication barrier. She speaks Japanese. She doesn't even understand what's going on. She's just an outsider. Wang is able to say so much about the dynamic between each of these characters, just through subtle glances and body language, as well as through the subtext of the dialogue between them. There are so many shots of them at a table, just eating and talking, and the camera cuts between their different expressions and their different reactions. And it's through those that we're informed of how they feel towards each other and what they think of each other. It's not directly through the dialogue. The nuance in this film is honestly just amazing. The attention to detail and care put into everything the actors say and do is phenomenal. This film was brilliantly balanced. There was a balance between dark comedy with the tragic and somber circumstances. It's a film that addresses cultural clashes, but there are no stereotypes or lazy cliches. It just feels real and genuine. Every character had their moment within a large cast. This movie did such a great job of maintaining emotional tension throughout the film. We are all in on this secret that they don't want to tell Nanai. We, along with the family, carry this burden. We're held in this emotional state of fear and grief for the entirety of the film. How would you feel talking to someone that you knew only had a few months to live and you couldn't say goodbye? Or tell them that you really love them and you really appreciate them for everything they've done? Every moment Billi has with her grandma is this gut-wrenching. Nanai just looks at Billi, ignorant of everything going on in her mind, not knowing that she's just filled to the brim with emotion that she's not allowed to express. And the ending, it's pretty perfect. If you have grandparents that live in another country and you maybe get to see them once a year, man, that ending just hits so hard. I feel like this movie was tailor-made for people like me. I'm someone that has had a similar upbringing to Billi, Asian heritage but grew up in a Western society. I've had those moments of going back to Asia when I was a child. I had those memories of spending time with my grandparents, uncles and aunties and cousins. I've had those moments getting a taxi from the airport and driving along the highway looking out for any changes to the city. I've been told to eat more by my grandma. I've been told to do weird exercises. So much of this film just hits so close to home. I can only imagine how many other people felt this same exact way. Seeing a movie like this, a movie that represents my upbringing, my background, it just makes me feel so happy. I've always loved watching movies and television shows because they show us a slice of life that we can't ever know. They show us the struggles and the triumphs of people from all walks of life. And to see my own experiences on the big screen for people all around the world to see and sympathize with and understand and relate to is just absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend seeing The Farewell enough. It is an amazing film with an amazing cast and really just overwhelmed me with just how personal and emotional of a story it really was. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content from me, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you've seen The Farewell, let me know what your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.